and this is our final time check. The network will go silent for the final 1 minute. Husker Sports Network programming begins in 1 minute.
Good evening. I'm Greg Sharpe. Here is tonight's Sports Ticker. Simone Biles has removed herself from the upcoming individual all-around events competition. Biles, who stepped away from the competition during the team portion, citing stress and mental health issues, was a heavy favorite to win her second all-around gold. In other Olympic action, the U.S. women's 3-on-3 squad captured gold today, defeating the Russian Olympic Committee. The U.S. men's national basketball squad bounced back from losing their opener to France by pounding Iran 120-66. The U.S. women's squad won their 50th straight Olympic game, besting Nigeria 81-72. The U.S. leads the overall medal count 31-27 over China, but the host country, Japan, still has the most golds with 13. Nebraska place kicker Connor Culp, who last year was the Big Ten's Kicker of the Year, was placed today on the preseason watch list for the Lou Groza Award, given out each year to the top kicker in college football. Last season, Culp made 13 of his 15 field goal attempts and all 20 of his point-after tries. Now, checking a Major League scoreboard, some afternoon baseball. Cleveland bested the Cardinals 7-2. A football-like score in Minneapolis. The Tigers beat the Twins 17-14. Toronto, in the first of a doubleheader in Boston, beat the Red Sox 4-1. The Nationals-Phillies game postponed. COVID issues right now with the Nationals. Games underway. The Astros lead the Mariners 9-3 in the bottom of the seventh. The Athletics all over the Padres 10-1. They're in the bottom of the eighth. About ready to get underway is Game 2 of the Red Sox-Blue Jays doubleheader. The Marlins are in Baltimore to tangle with the Orioles. The Brewers and Pirates about set to go in Pittsburgh. The Braves and Mets about to get underway at Citi Field in New York. The Yankees and Rays down in Tampa. Later tonight, the Royals host the White Sox. The Reds in Chicago to take on the Cubs. The Diamondbacks in Texas to duel with the Rangers. The Rockies and Angels will square off later tonight, and the Dodgers and Giants out in San Francisco. Those are today's sports headlines. I'm Greg Sharpe.
Live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network, bringing you the best Husker sports experience.
Kubik sends a pass, made Gonzalez. It's over the net. Shut back by Stubrins. It's in. They did it. Match point, Big Red. 15-10 in the fifth. Fighting back from the abyss, down 2 sets love. Nebraska claims opening night against Ohio State. 15-10 set 5. My goodness.
Lauren Stivrins is a great leader, and Lauren was talking to those guys through when we were struggling, and she got them to change their mindset. And then I think Lexi led the way, and Nicklin, and so those are the guys that got to do that. Then it was fun to watch. We played Husker volleyball.
Sports Nightly is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down. Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Thank you. Welcome to our Wednesday night show. We're one day ahead of Nebraska's Fan Day. It'll be going on at this time tomorrow night, 5:30 to 7:30 inside the stadium. Nebraska today did put out some new guidelines, this following the risk dial in Lancaster and Lincoln and Lancaster County going up to yellow yesterday. Here are some things you need to know about this for tomorrow. Fans are encouraged to maintain distancing whenever possible. Attendees should not gather near the gates until shortly before the start of the event at 5:30. It is recommended that unvaccinated individuals and any individuals with underlying health conditions wear a mask tomorrow. Additionally, all fans are encouraged to wear a mask when in large crowds and social distance when possible. They'll have hand sanitizing pumps available near gates 3 and 24 and some other spots around the stadium tomorrow as well. And then fans are said to not try to group around the players at the end of the event at 7:30 tomorrow. So, again, Fan Day is a go. But with the wrist dial going to yellow, Huskers want to take as much precautions as possible with this. So also at Huskers.com, you can find the map where all the teams will be lined up, where the position groups will be lined up, and where you'll get in line for fans. So you can strategize where you want to go, which line you want to try to get into first tomorrow night. Going to be hot, Jessica.
Yeah.
Going to be hot tomorrow.
It's hot today.
It is hot today.
It is blistering, but I do think there's some relief coming, right?
Tomorrow's the last day, but unfortunately, Fan Day is going to suffer in the heat. They will have the teams lined up on the west side with their tables, and those are going to be in the shade by 5:30, but a lot of the fans will probably have to stand in the sun to get to the tables. But as the night goes on, you should find some cooling shade, hopefully, out there tomorrow night. So, but bring some water. Hydrate during the day. We don't want to have a lot of episodes out there on the turf because it will be hot on the turf tomorrow too, with all the sun baking down on top of it.
Yeah, but exciting though. I mean, it just, man, when these things start happening, you have a media day, Big Ten media day, and then you have Fan Day, and then first practice. It means it's all getting closer.
Yeah.
So, and I know the players, just talking to a few of them, how excited they are to be back around the fans, in front of the fans, and all of that. So want to be safe, obviously, but super excited that it's happening, A
lot of them are back. I saw the parking lot was full of young guys, cars out front. I think they were having some kind of form of some meetings going on today. A lot of that will get cranked up tomorrow, but it's go time. And this heat, maybe by Friday, will cool down a bit for that first practice because it's pretty brutal out there today.
I was talking to Dave Ellis a couple days ago, and he was talking about how they have to monitor guys at practice. Some guys might sweat 10 pounds a day. Some guys might sweat 20. Some might sweat 5. And there might be guys that don't sweat at all, but just constantly, especially in the heat, it's going to be a huge focus and, making sure that they're monitoring that. But they're the best in the business for a reason. But it was kind of interesting to hear how they have to, make sure that they are, taking care of these guys and all the different things that go into that.
Absolutely. And they do. They'll put some things on their bodies in some cases to monitor their temperature as practice is going on. Our good buddy Jeremiah Searles is a known sweater. He always said, man, he goes, I just lost so much weight in blistering hot days going through workouts.
Well, and you think about we've heard about how good the off season and the preseason workouts have been, and the guys, putting on weight were the guys that needed to, and now that's a big focus. You have to make sure that you're maintaining all of that, and that's as big of a challenge as going out there and learning the playbook sometimes.
It's not easy to do.
Yeah.
I mean, particularly if you're practicing in 90-degree temperatures with the pads on and all those things, it's hard to keep that weight on you. All right, here's what we have. Busy show coming up tonight. We're going to talk to Husker wide receivers coach and offensive coordinator Matt Lubick here in just a couple of minutes. We'll break into his room, which is going to have a lot of eyeballs on it during the month of August. What can that wide receiving room look like? Can they take a big step forward? It looks like they've got some nice parts that they've added to that group. We'll hear from him here in just a couple of minutes. Hour number 2, Jessica yesterday had a chance to catch up with Kobe Webster, the Husker super senior on the basketball team. He had the ability to leave and not come back. His eligibility would have been up, but the NCAA granting that extra year of eligibility. He's taking advantage of that, coming back for another year. Look forward to that conversation. Nate Rohr will be here also in the second hour. Nate, you'll hear his booming voice tomorrow throughout Memorial Stadium. He's the PA voice of Memorial Stadium. Also calls Husker softball. We'll get his take on Fan Day and the Olympics. We'll see what Nate thought about all of that coming up in hour number 2. And as always, we want you to be a part of the program. 402-413-2400 is our number to call or text If you want to give us a call, it would be on our Sports Sunday hotline, brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. Jessica, the other story that we've been following for the last week has been the pending departure of Texas and Oklahoma from the Big 12 Conference. More news as that relates to us today. The Big 12 has sent out a cease and desist letter to ESPN, claiming that ESPN has been tampering with current members of the league, trying to sway them to go to other leagues that would benefit ESPN. ESPN denying the cause, but Commissioner Bob Bowlesby of the Big 12 Conference with some really biting comments today. Quote, "It causes me to further suspect that ESPN had their hands all over the Texas and Oklahoma move to the SEC. There was deception as much as possibly can be. There are right and wrong ways to do these things. They sought to deceive us from the very beginning." One of his quotes, he's got a bunch of them. He's really ticked off by this whole thing. They're claiming that the AAC, which is the American Athletic Conference, which ESPN has the rights to their broadcast as well, was trying to poach 3 to 5 members of the other 8 to get them to come to the AAC. This is getting nasty.
It's really, really, really messy. Now, ESPN did put out a statement that said the claims in the letter have no merit, but the Big 12 is claiming to have some hard evidence that there was some conspiracy going on between ESPN and the American to try to get to 16 leagues and then sign a new rights deal. So we talked about this from day one, really, that we thought somehow ESPN had to be involved in this deal because of the Longhorn Network, and we're hearing that the buyout on that is going to pay for Oklahoma and Texas's exit. But now I think some of the speculation is that their hope, the hope was that maybe if there's some other teams that are coming out, the Big 12 would fall apart, and then there's no exit fees at all.
Right. Nobody owes anybody anything,
right.
And that's the whole thing. Bowlesby told Sports Illustrated now that he has documented evidence that ESPN tried to encourage an unnamed conference to add Big 12 members in the effort to do what you just said, that it could avoid exit costs for the Longhorns and the Sooners. It makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, this all kind of fits together, and it's kind of what we speculated a week ago, and now it's kind of coming out in the wash. It's a dirty wash, yes, but it's coming out in the wash.
Man, just backstabbing, and this is like a reality TV show, like waiting to happen. Somebody hopefully has some cameras on this deal. Can you imagine? We were talking, I think, off air about how at some point some of the details are going to come out, and I don't know if I thought that they would come out this soon, but in 10 years from now or 5 years from now, when they do like a documentary on how this all unfolded, it's going to be fascinating because how they kept it quiet for so long, and then now all the details and the conspiring and all of the people being salty about it, and it's going to be interesting to see what the Big 12 does. I think if they can find a way to bring some teams in, and it might be beneficial for some of these teams to try to keep it together, but it's crazy.
Wouldn't it make more sense for the Big 12 to go poach the AAC than the AAC to poach the Big 12? It seems like it's backwards.
Yeah, except for that Big 12 has ties to Fox, and the AAC is all in with the ESPN. So ESPN can sign a whole new deal with the American and bringing in more teams, whereas Big 12's locked in with Fox.
So where's the Big 10 in all this, you ask? Deathly quiet. Right? I mean, no statements coming out of the league office. Kevin Warren hasn't said anything outside of what he said last week, which wasn't much, at media days in Indianapolis. He's been very quiet all week long. And
you don't really need to be vocal at this point, and you sit back and watch. Look at everybody cannibalizing themselves.
Yes.
The Big Ten is stable and in stable condition. It's funny, we were talking about some of the videos that have come out today about Nebraska sitting back and eating some popcorn and saying, hey, we told you so, but everybody's kind of cannibalizing themselves right now. Sit back and wait. You don't think when all of this plays out, teams are going to want to be in the Big Ten because the Big Ten is still going to be a power conference.
Right.
So they can get who they want and who they need when that time comes up, because who knows in 2 or 3 years from now which conference, which program might be the most beneficial for the Big Ten. They don't need to be, hasty in this deal.
Should the Big Ten be concerned at all about their members wanting to jump? I mean, there's been a little bit of rumors out there that maybe Ohio State goes and joins the big SEC party. I don't see that, but I guess you should never say never, right, in this day and age.
Obviously, we didn't know all this stuff was going on with Oklahoma and Texas behind closed doors. But, again, Big 12, a lot less stable than the Big 10, a lot less money. The whole deal with the conference network and not having that, and the Longhorn Network. And I know that the Longhorn Network has been a thorn in the side of since its inception, really. It hasn't paid off for Texas. It's a money drain for ESPN. So, but I know that the other Big 12 schools were unhappy that there's not a network. Every other Power 5 school has a network. And while the Pac-12 maybe isn't as good as the Big 10 and the SEC and even the ACC, there's not a network. And I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. But the Big Ten network and the Big Ten kind of TV rights is still very lucrative and something that people are going to want to be a part of.
Speaking of Ohio State, Yahoo, Pete Thamel, who writes for Yahoo, had a story today, Jessica, about the number one overall recruit in this upcoming class, so about young men who are about to be seniors, is Quinn Ewers, who's a quarterback down in the state of Texas. He tells Yahoo Sports that he is leaning towards skipping his senior year and heading off to Ohio State because he believes he could earn seven figures with NIL deals, which he certainly can't get at the high school level in the state of Texas right now. Well, one, it's almost August. Ohio State opens camp in about a week. I don't think there's any way this young guy comes in and starts. Ohio State's got one of the top quarterbacks from a class 2 years ago that looks like he'll be the starting quarterback for the Buckeyes. So the backup quarterback's going to come in. I think that's a bit of a pipe dream, don't you?
Yeah, I guess maybe they're seeing what's happening in Alabama and hadn't even been named the starter yet.
But that's for the start. But that's but he's expected to be the starter. Yeah, hadn't
even been named the starter yet. But maybe he's thinking that that's going to be the same thing for him. Maybe one day he will be the starter, but he can capitalize on it then. But yeah, that's a lot. And why would you want to skip in your senior year? Be a kid, enjoy it.
We wouldn't have graduated yet, right? Wouldn't he have to take like a GED class? I mean, he'd have to do something. I mean, obviously, maybe he has already got enough credits at the high school level to graduate. I would kind of doubt it. Usually, most kids aren't that far ahead of the track to be done before you start your senior year, I wouldn't think. Yeah,
I don't know. That you've got to make sure you're taking care of all the academic requirements to qualify. So
crazy. That was a crazy story. All right, full show again tonight. Coming up here in a few minutes, Coach Lubick will join us. We'll talk about the receivers, but we'll also get his take about the group that he will be working with as offensive coordinator for this football team, now just 2 days away from starting practice for the 2021 season. So full show ahead. Love to have your thoughts with a call or a text. Back with more coming up.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Want to get all the latest Husker news straight to your phone? Need to be the first of your friends to get the scoop on all things Huskers? Sign up for text alerts from Nebraska Athletics. Text Huskers to 83200 to get game time notifications and updates, breaking news, special ticket offers, and more straight to your phone. All the Husker news is just a quick text away. Just text Huskers to 83200. Standard text messaging rates apply and may vary by carrier. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Did you ever buy something and get more than you expected? Emeritus offers insurance, employee benefits, and financial services, but we deliver so much more. The comfort of a human voice when you need it, the confidence of flashing a beautiful smile, the relief that your family can keep living the life they love, the serenity of knowing you've planned well and can enjoy life. That's what we really deliver. We call it fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services, and much more.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue! SOS! SOS!
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. With a combination of strong academics and affordability, UNL offers an excellent educational value. This year, the university was named one of the Princeton Review's best value colleges. And the new Nebraska Promise and Career Scholarship programs are connecting more hardworking Huskers with financial help so they can pursue their dreams.
Touchdown, Nebraska!
If you're doing business in Nebraska, the best way to connect your organization with the excitement surrounding the Huskers is through a partnership with Nebraska Athletics.
Kaboom! Wow!
You can take your business to the next level by reaching loyal Husker fans through in-venue signage, radio advertising, digital and social media, and more.
Got it!
Join the Husker team today and email partners@huskers.com to learn more about opportunities to connect with Husker Nation. That's partners@huskers.com.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
We're back here on Sports Night. Time to continue our position breakdowns with a look at the Husker wide receivers. And wide receivers coach and offensive coordinator Matt Lubick is here with me. Take me to the end of your spring. How did you feel like those 15 practices went, and how much progress did you see out of the group?
Happy with it. You know, it was the first time since I've been here we had a full spring because the last spring got cut short with COVID. And, we had a lot of guys that played as freshmen or played as first-year players to kind of take that next step of just understand the offense, playing faster because they know their assignment, and we were able to progress. Still got a lot of work to do, but was very happy, specifically with the receiver position, just because a lot more mature than it was a year ago at that time.
Let's go through some names that Husker fans will remember from last year. We'll start with Levi Falk. He was a transfer from South Dakota. What progress did you see from him, and what are your expectations for Levi?
Sure. Well, first off, we're very fortunate to get that guy. He chose to come here after he was having a successful career in Dakota, and just wanted to play at a bigger level. Didn't know much about him when he got here. Then he got here, and he ended up starting a couple of games and played really well for us. Very consistent practices to get better every day. Practices 100 miles an hour. Student of the game, tough. Good ball skills. I mean, he can make a contested catch, fun to be around. And I think our other guy, even though he's only been here for a year, other guys look at him as a leader because of how hard he works. And he's kind of embraced that role. And like he'll get especially in the summertime when coaches were limited on what we can do with them, he's done a good job of organizing workouts with those guys. And those guys listen to him.
Wyatt Lewer is a guy that was on the field a lot for you last fall and made the winning catch in the spring game. Well, tell us about Wyatt a little bit.
Yeah, just very similar to Levi. I love having him around. Fortunate to have him around. He's another guy that walked on here. Now, we have put both those guys on scholarship, well-earned and well-deserved. But, plays with an edge. Really talented, too. I mean, an athletic player. I was surprised, sometimes when I first got here, it's like, this guy's not on scholarship. He's a good athlete. How come he's not on scholarship? And, he's one of those, he's very humble and hungry, so he works his tail off. But, That doesn't say a lot, and smart football player, and we're expecting big things from him this year. Had a great spring.
Oliver Martin was a guy that you got available to you about midway through last fall and seemed to make some nice strides for you in the spring. Where's his ceiling?
Yeah, so he's another guy. We're fortunate to get him. He wasn't eligible till mid-fall because of the transfer rule and when he got here. So his learning curve was delayed, and he was just starting to pick up the offense and getting really comfortable maybe the last 2 or 3 games. And so he played well. I think he started the Rutgers game and did some good things. He's very talented, very explosive. I think when we did our weight testing, he was our fastest guy, our most explosive guy in the vertical jump on the entire football team. So he's got really good skill set, had a great spring. He's a lot like the other guys. He has a year in the system, so now he knows the plays, and instead of thinking about it, which slows a guy down, he can just react and play, which lets your talent flourish, and we can actually see how good he is. So I'm expecting good things from him.
A couple of your new boys from a year ago that we saw were Alante Brown and Xavier Betts. What growth have you seen from them?
Well, they're both growing. Alante has had some bad luck with some injuries. Now, he's going to be healthy for the fall, but he was held out of spring because of his shoulder. And it's unfortunate, too, because his first 3 days of spring, it's like, hey, this guy is going to be something special. But we're excited to see what he can do this fall. We got to get him healthy, but he should be full go for the first game. But another guy who came on towards the end of the season, we were playing so many first-year players at receiver position. It's hard when whether you're a transfer or whether you're a freshman, just learn the system. And it's night and day your second year when you actually know what you're doing and you feel comfortable and you play with confidence. And so he was playing with a ton more confidence. Excited what he can do. And then Xavier's another guy who came on as the season went on. He got slowed by a couple just nagging injuries, nothing serious, but he had a good spring. And he's very talented. And I know all these guys have been working their tail off this summer, so their bodies and just their physical attributes, they've made huge gains. And he's a tremendous talent, so excited to see what he can do this fall as well. And the good thing is, you're bringing up a lot of guys that can all play, so we need that. We need competition. The better the competition is, the better it pushes each other. So that's going to keep on progressing like we hope. Again, we still have a long ways to go, but I'm excited with our direction that we're going in.
Again, visiting with Matt Lubick, Husker wide receivers coach, offensive coordinator here as we break down the wide receiver position. You mentioned injuries to Alante in the spring. An injury last summer to Will Nixon kept him out, but he certainly looked like he made some big strides for you in spring ball.
Sure. That was a guy we were counting on to help us kind of as freshmen because he was a mature guy, off the charts as far as intelligence. He studies football. His dad's a coach, but he really understands the game, but then he also is very dedicated to studying away from us and doing a lot of things on his own. And showed some great things when we first got here, but then blew that knee so early that obviously it was a blow to us and a blow to him, but worked his tail off to get in a position to play. Because they weren't sure he would be able to do spring ball. Credit to him how hard he worked, that he was able to go full go and did a lot of good things. And he's a guy, too, where receivers new to him. He was a running back in high school. And in our offense, we cross-train guys, so we actually like having pass running backs because they're good with the ball in their hands. Mm-hmm. And as long as they can catch it, which he can, we like getting those guys the ball in space, and we can do different things with them as far as moving them in the backfield and split them out. And so his diversified skill set lets us do a lot with him. And, again, he's another guy that we're excited because he's gaining a lot of confidence and really started picking things up as spring went on.
We've heard so much, Coach, about the transfer portal, and it seems to be that the guys who leave get more attention than the guys that come in. But you got one that came in from Montana, and Samari Toure. What did you like about him to bring him here, and what did he show you in the spring?
Yeah, transfer portal is an interesting thing. I know there's a lot of debate about it. We're fortunate to get him. He was a guy who was an All-American at the University of Montana, and he left on good terms with those guys. The head coach at Montana and I grew up together, so we're good friends, and his receiver coach. And I didn't want to step on their toes, so it was very out in the open. We talked about it. Are you comfortable with him leaving? And they basically said, yeah, we've all sat down and talked. He wanted to showcase his talent at a higher level. And to help him for the NFL. And he's going to go somewhere, so we'd like to see him go to you. So I think they actually helped us, gave us a recommendation. And then just developing a relationship with him on the phone, I really noticed his maturity come through. We talked about his goals, what's important to him. And, you know, he's wise beyond his years. He talks like he's a senior. And then he shows up, and that's hard. When you come in, you don't know anybody, to any place in the spring and have to learn a new offense, make new friends, and prove yourself, and came in very humble, you know, worked his tail off, did a lot of stuff on his own to help move the learning curve for him, picked it up way faster than I thought he would, and had a great spring. And really excited what he can do. And our other guys are look to him as a leader. He's only been here for a spring, but they see his work habits, they see his maturity, they see the way he conducts himself, they see him make plays, but they just see you know, just an extra drive that this is what it takes to be good. And so his addition from just a mental standpoint and a playmaking standpoint is huge for our group.
I think you surprised some people when you lined him up in the slot. Did you have conversations with him, and why did you visualize him as a guy that could play the slot?
Sure. Well, he has a skill set where he can play slot or outside, and we try to cross-train our guys. So the outside guy can play slot, and the slot can play outside. That's not easy. You got to have the aptitude to do that. And he showed he could do that. And he played some slot, you know, at the University of Montana, did a good job. We ask our slot to do a lot. We ask him to block, you know, Sam linebackers, nickels. But we also ask him to catch the ball downfield, and sometimes we'll give him the ball out of the backfield, and he can do all those things. And it just seemed natural fit for him, too, because he just kept on making plays. And it was good because that was a position that, you know, we wanted to see who's going to step up and rise to the occasion. And I think we're going to have a couple of guys there with competition, but he did a great job of saying, hey, this is a guy we can count on.
Omar Manning is a guy that we finally got to see in the spring game make some plays for you. Big ceiling, but still work to be done.
Sure. You know, he's another first-year player. The spring was huge for him because, you know, he was out there playing, and he was healthy. You know, he's had some knickknacks through his career, but he was out there playing and doing a good job, and guys saw what he could do a little bit in the spring game. And I think he was playing with a lot more confidence. Again, just being out there. The more you're out there, the more confidence you're going to have. And he's been working, you know, really good through not just the spring, but carrying that on to off-season workouts. So another guy that's going to add to the competition that we're really excited about what he can do for us.
Now, I think fans are really excited seeing your group compete in the spring game. And I kept reminding people, well, this room's going to grow because you had 3 incoming freshmen that are now here, got here in June, in Camonte Grimes, Latrell Neville, and Sean Hardy. I know you haven't had them on a field yet, but you obviously liked them enough to offer them a scholarship a few months ago.
Oh, yeah. You know, and their story is very interesting. You know, hopefully we'll never have another pandemic or a crazy thing like this. But the first time, so I met those guys through Zoom and just talking on the phone, developed a relationship on the phone. They never took all 3 of those guys have never been here before until they actually got here in June. Never took an official visit, which just blows your mind. And so they were kind of, you know, they made a decision to be Huskers on faith. You know, I think they felt comfortable with what they were getting into, and the relationships that we developed helped. But I was nervous about that because they'd never been up here. And then when they got here in June, when the rest of our freshmen got here, the guys didn't graduate early, they blended in so well. I was so impressed with their maturity, you know, how they showed up early to everything. We talk about 3 rules: show up early, have a good attitude, and work your tail off. And if you do those 3 things in life, everything kind of takes care of itself. And they did that, and didn't have to motivate them. They're all self-starters, so that's worth its weight in gold. And we know they're talented. You know, I haven't had a chance really to work with them, but in June, you can see them in the weight room. You can see them moving around, and I'm really excited to see what they can do this fall camp, because this will be our first chance to really work with those guys.
All be given an opportunity to show if they can play and help this fall, right?
They are. You know, I love the way we practice. This is something that Coach Frost and Chip Kelly and actually Coach Osborne, the way we practice with reps, and we don't have a lot of guys standing around, and it really helps our freshmen play. And what I mean by that, I've been at some schools where just kind of the 1s and 2s and the 3s get in a little bit, and if you're not in, everyone's kind of watching, taking mental reps. Well, we're a little bit different, where we'll have a group of 1s and 2s or 1s and 3s on one field and 2s and 3s, and everyone is repping, and that's how you get better. And so these guys are going to get reps. Now, as coaches, we got to prepare them for those reps, you know, so they feel confident and they go out there and, you know, 'cause I want them to gain confidence and have some success. And to do that, we're going to have to do a little bit extra with them, have some extra one-on-one meetings, which is fun, part of the deal. And we have a good program for that, but part of that is they've got to engage in that, and they've got to want to do that, and they do. They're all excited about the opportunity, and they all think they can compete, which they can. Mm-hmm. And, in our system, I think every year when I was at Oregon and even here, we've always played true freshmen at the skill spots, which, is a testament to them, but also our system and how we teach it and the way we have reps in practice, they get that opportunity to show their skill set.
We've run through quite a few names. This leads itself to think that August is going to be highly competitive, I would believe.
That's the key. The better the competition, it's going to make our whole team better. And we always talk about this, we're not really competing against each other, we're competing for each other. So the harder we compete against the defense, it makes them better, and vice versa. And so that's really exciting. It's exciting that our defense is very competitive, and we got a lot of guys back there, and they're very good, and that makes us better. So, the competition really does bring out the best in people, and we're going to have a lot more competition this year as opposed to we did last year.
Let me end with this, and I'll have you put on your offensive coordinator hat here and kind of broaden it out a little bit. How much will the fact that your room looks so much deeper than it did 12 months ago help Adrian Martinez and your offense go?
That's huge, and I feel bad for Adrian. It's kind of the nature of the beast being a quarterback. Sometimes you get too much credit, and they also get too much of the blame because everyone sees you. But, for example, when a quarterback throws an interception, well, maybe the receiver wasn't open, or maybe the protection wasn't good. I mean, everyone's involved, but no one sees the offensive lineman maybe miss the protection, or the running back, or the receiver didn't get open. So his success, even when I was around guys like Justin Herbert and Mariota, they were great players, but they had great players around them. And I think the more that we can upgrade the talent around him, the more he's going to flourish. And we are more talented. We still got to show it on the field, but we're more talented than we've been last year, and we've improved. So that's definitely going to help Adrian, the fact that he has, and not just the receivers, but being able to run the football, take some pressure off, and our protection and our offensive line. So I think the rest of the positions on the offense have all stepped up. We got a lot of returners, so we should step up. So that's going to make Adrian that much better of a player.
Well, appreciate you coming in and doing the rundown for us. Have a great camp. Keep these guys healthy, and I just can't wait to see how this competition plays out.
I'm excited about it. Thanks for having me here.
Certainly going to be a group that everybody's going to watch pretty closely during this next couple of weeks. And I think he's done a good job. He got hired, Jessica, in February of 20.
Not ideal.
And then the world changed.
Not ideal.
He only got, like he said, he only got a couple of practices in that spring before it got shut down. And so really hard to gauge Coach Lubick for last year. But I think that there's some options there that weren't there a year ago, and that's exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of like at running back, you got to figure some things out, but there's going to be some competition there. They feel like there's talent in both of those groups. It's how are they going to compete come fall camp, and who's going to kind of separate themselves and who can be the guy. But it seems like, and we talked about this, Adrian Martinez kind of taking the lead on throwing. I've seen him out there throwing with the guys, and I think trying to develop that chemistry and get a feel for him. And he said it's not just on him, it's the quarterback group. But yeah, hopefully they have a good competition, and that breeds success, and someone will kind of emerge as the guy that can be the playmaker.
No doubt. We appreciate Coach Lubick stepping in here and joining us for a few minutes here on Sports On. If you have some thoughts about what he said, love to hear from you. Call or text 402-413-2400. More of the show coming up.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
A DUI is everything you didn't prepare for. You did not save for it. You did not train for it. You did not go to school for it. You did not raise your family or buy a house or get a job for it. It is not your life goal or a dream come true. You have planned for everything in your life. You did not plan for a DUI. Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Shop Woodhouse Ford first. With 3 convenient locations, we offer a wide selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Our no-pressure sales team is eager to help you find the perfect vehicle. We make it easy to shop, finance, and purchase in person or online at woodhouseford.com. Choose your experience and start your car buying journey today at Woodhouse Ford in Blair, Omaha, or Plattsmouth.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Back to Adventures in Technology. Oh no! Our IT hero is caught in the jagged jaws of ransomware attacks and phishing scams. Help! Wait! It's Marco's Network Security Solutions to the rescue with life-saving ways to detect hungry cybervillains and stop them cold in their tracks. With Marco's Network Security Solutions, our IT hero lives to surf another day. For more successful network security adventures, go to marconet.com.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
Buckle up and put that phone down. It's a reminder for the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Wednesday night, a day ahead of Fan Day. Tomorrow night at this time, you're all going to be out there getting those autographs from those Huskers. Hopefully you're trying to stay a little bit cool outside, so looking forward to that event going on tomorrow. Here are the numbers if you want to be a part of the program, 402-413-2400. If you have some thoughts about what offensive coordinator, wide receivers coach Matt Lubick had to say in our last segment, would love to hear about that. You know, Jessica, going back to what we talked about in the open about the move to the SEC for Texas and Oklahoma, one of the initial knee-jerk reactions is that Texas A&M would not approve that. Well, that's changed now. Apparently, their Board of Regents just got out of a meeting, and they're thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean, I bet they were told, hey, get on board, or maybe you find some place to go. But probably what they heard is the amount of money that they're about to get paid.
True.
From ESPN, who has been all over this deal.
Yeah, and hey, I think you and I've kind of been all over this deal, too. We kind of sniffed out this ESPN influence. There's the next question. Is ESPN's influence becoming too much for college sports? Are they too overbearing?
Yes, and I think we've seen it play out in the college football playoff. It's very obvious that they push SEC teams, and they're going to continue to do so because they own all of the rights to that. So, yeah, and they're up there on SportsCenter and everything that people watch that all the time, and they're pushing their narrative that they want. I think it becomes very messy on how you're trying to report and all of this. It's funny, the AAC said that they had no comment on if they were involved in any sort of I guess, a conspiracy to try to get teams to the American.
Well, the ESPN influence on college sports, I think, needs to be addressed a little bit. You just kind of wonder, have they gotten too big? And yes, the Big Ten still has a relationship with ESPN, but they have a big relationship with Fox. Fox owns the Big Ten network, so the Big Ten probably leans a little bit more Fox than they do is ESPN. But I don't know what you do. I don't know if you can. How do you corral ESPN? I don't know. There is a way to corral ESPN at this point in time.
I guess the only thing would be is if the rest of the conferences all got together and said, whoa, the SEC is kind of getting a little too powerful here. I don't know, maybe a Clemson, but Clemson's tied in with ESPN too, as well.
Right, the ACC network is run by.
But if the SEC is kind of starting to run the show, maybe Clemson gets involved. They might have some pull. Ohio State, the Big Ten, if they can kind of all come together and be like, hey, Notre Dame, if you can kind of get some schools and conferences come together and say, yeah, this is getting too out of hand. What can we do to fix this? But, the NCAA and Mark Emmert basically stepping back. We haven't heard anything about it and not getting involved and probably not going to get involved. But there's no governing body. So again, here comes Greg Sankey. He's about to be basically running the show in this deal.
He's the commissioner of college football right now.
Yeah,
he really is. He runs the whole thing. It saddens me to say that about ESPN because I love ESPN Game Day. I mean, that's a tradition. You get up and get ready for your own game, and you have it on, and you're watching that, and you love Lee Corso with the hats and the picks and all those type of things. But they're all over this thing, and if they are guilty of tampering, that's not a good look. That is not good for the future of college sports.
No, it's not at all. I mean, and God, it just. I don't even know if they're even making money as much as they're throwing it out because they're probably calling on Disney to help them, fund some of this. But some of these other companies can't get involved to even compete with it. Like Fox has a hand in a few places and is done well with the Big Noon Kickoff game or Big Noon Kickoff show and then the 11 a.m. game. But until they start getting some games up in that 7 o'clock slot that kind of competes, that they can pull some viewers away. I mean, I don't know. You got to find Amazon. I don't know, YouTube. Maybe some streaming companies could maybe get involved and start throwing some money out there. But until they can compete money-wise with ESPN, they're going to continue to run the show.
Right. Now, this may surprise you. I saw this a couple weeks ago. 3 of the 5 highest-rated college football games last year were at 11.
Yeah.
So it's not
It actually does not surprise me.
Because it's in the East, it's noon.
Yes.
So in the East Coast, which is where most of the population of the country is, they're up ready to watch.
Yeah, and Fox did put some pretty big games on
they
that
sure did.
People wanted to watch at that time slot, which was genius, honestly, if you think about it. And I know Oklahoma and some of the fans in the Big 12 get really, really upset about those 11 a.m. kickoffs. But look, there was not very many good games on at that time, and so putting on a really good game on that time is genius for Fox to get those ratings and those eyeballs.
Folks, what do you think? ESPN getting too big for their britches? Is their influence in college sports too much? Love to hear your take. 402-413-2400. We're back to wrap up Hour 1 next.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Shop with confidence at Woodhouse Ford. Take advantage of our current offers and vast inventory selection with features you want at a smart price. Schedule a test drive today or shop online with our streamlined sales process. We make it easy to shop, finance, and purchase in person or online at WoodhouseFord.com. Choose your experience and find your next vehicle at Woodhouse Ford in Blair, Omaha, or Plattsmouth.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. On May 7th and 8th, Nebraska celebrated its largest May graduating class in university history. 3,594 degrees were awarded to Nebraska graduates in ceremonies at Pinnacle Bank Arena and Memorial Stadium. Along with receiving their diplomas, graduates also heard inspiring speeches from notable Nebraskans, including legendary coach Tom Osborne.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard, and thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
Buckle up, put that phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Greg Sharpe Jessica Coody with you here on a Wednesday night, 402-413-2400. The number if you want to dot us up with a comment or question. Let's go to the phones. Let's head down to Manhattan. David, you're up next on Sports Island. Good evening.
Yeah, hey, thanks for your show. Enjoy it a lot.
Thanks.
Well, I had an idea on how to counter the ESPN SEC growing influence. And what about if the Big 12 and the Big 10 and the Pac-12 and AAC, maybe the ACC, work together with Fox and put on their own college football playoff?
Well, and Jessica kind of was alluding to that earlier, but the ACC, they've got a network with ESPN. They're not going to leave that. They're already with them. The Big 10 and the Pac-12 could combine together, and there's some power there, but I don't know that it's enough to counter all this stuff, David. I just think that they're so big now. I don't know where you chop them down. I really don't.
And yeah, that's a good point.
I was going to say, I think the deal with the ACC is pretty long. The contract that they signed, the ACC and ESPN, like crazy long.
Like 12 to 15 years long. Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off there, David.
Yeah. Well, I just think that maybe the solution is going to lie in the Big 10 and the Pac-12 kind of getting together and say, hey, we want to do something that's going to benefit us. So hopefully they will.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it. Thanks for your take on that. Let's go up to Omaha next. And Matt, good evening. Matt, welcome to Sports Island.
Hi, guys. I had just a quick question. Disney owns ESPN, is that correct?
Yes.
Doesn't Disney also now own Fox?
I don't believe so.
I think they bought out some of it, and I think they were denied. They tried to buy the RSNs, but I think that was denied. But I think they own they took over one of the animation parts of it. I'm not a movie buff. I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But no, they don't own the Fox Sports part of it.
Okay. I was going to say, because if they own both, then it would just make sense for, even if Disney's money gets involved, it makes sense for them to be pushing things to their flagship, ESPN, as opposed to anything else they might own. But you had mentioned also, pushing some streaming services maybe into the mix, into that conversation. I don't know that Amazon would really compete, but would other services like Hulu or anything like that, do they have any conflict of interest? Because I know with Hulu you can get the Big Ten Network packaged with Hulu, but also now ESPN you can get packaged with Hulu as well. So I just didn't know if there would be any conflict of interest even on streaming sites, to get some of these games redistributed.
No, good thought, Matt. Appreciate the phone call. I think streaming services are certainly the way to go now. 10 years ago, Jessica, it was all about how many TV sets could you acquire, and that's why Rutgers was picked up by the Big Ten. But now that's kind of irrelevant. It's all about streaming services, and maybe there's an angle there with YouTube TV or Hulu or something you could do.
I do believe that there are some streaming services that are trying to figure out how and what to do with live sports, because look, that is the thing. There's still always live sports is king. You can't DVR it. We've been talking about that with the Olympics. It ruins it on Twitter and social media. You already know what happened. So live streaming sports is going to be continue to be something that could be lucrative in the future, no doubt.
Wasn't YouTube TV the sponsor of the NBA Finals? I think they were. I think they were the title sponsor of that, and maybe have been for a couple of years. So that's a good thought, Matt. Appreciate it. That's I think that's kind of where you have to think. You have to start thinking differently than TV sets and cable outlets and those type of things. That's kind of that's a decade-old look back at what was going on with sports where now it is a lot more about the streaming services going on. And I'll tell you what, and we got 30 seconds left. It's frustrated the heck out of me, and you mentioned it the other night, that the Olympic basketball, they put the U.S. games on Peacock. Well, I don't have that streaming service, so I couldn't watch the game live.
I don't know how I have it, but I have it, so I've been
do?
able to watch it. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what I got, but somehow I have it, and I've been able to watch the stream on my app on NBC Sports.
I've got Apple, and I've got Netflix, and I've got Disney, and you can't get them all. That's the problem with this thing. 1 hour in the books. We're not done. Come on back.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Husker fans, stay up to date with the most current and latest news by following the Big Red on Facebook and Twitter. These social media homes provide the fastest daily updates on everything surrounding NU athletics, including game results, ticket promotions, and Husker prizes. Log on to also follow several sports-specific pages and Husker head coaches. Become a fan today at facebook.com/Huskers and twitter.com/Huskers to join and interact with thousands of Husker fans around the world.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Back to Adventures in Technology. Look away! A runaway train of IT problems is bearing down on our brave IT hero. But wait! It's Marco's Technology Assessment to the rescue with life-saving IT strategies. Our hero's technology issues are derailed. A tip of the hat to Marco. And our hero rides into the virtual sunset of our WebEx background. For more successful IT adventures, go to marconet.com.
Good evening. I'm Greg Sharpe. Here is tonight's sports ticker. Simone Biles has removed herself from the upcoming individual all-around events competition. Biles, who stepped away from the competition during the team portion, citing stress and mental health issues, was a heavy favorite to win her second all-around gold. In other Olympic action, the U.S. women's 3-on-3 squad captured the first ever gold in that event. They beat the Russian Olympic Committee earlier today. U.S. men's national basketball squad bounced back from their opening loss to pounce on Iran 120-66. The U.S. women's squad won their 50th straight Olympic game, besting Nigeria 81-72. The U.S. leads the overall medal count 31-27 over China, but the host country, Japan, they still have the most golds with 13. Nebraska place kicker Connor Culp, who last year was the Big Ten's Kicker of the Year, was placed today on the preseason watch list for the Grossa Award, given out each year to the top kicker in college football. Last season, Culp made 13 of his 15 field goal attempts and all 20 of his point-after tries. A look at the Major League Baseball scoreboard. Finals already in the books. The Indians beat the Cardinals 7-2. Detroit outslugged Minnesota 17-14. Doubleheader going on in Boston at Fenway. The Blue Jays win Game 1 4-1. Game 2 underway now. The Astros took down the Mariners 11-4. The Athletics bested the Padres 10-4. The Nationals and Phillies postpone a COVID outbreak with the Nationals team. Games in progress. Royals and White Sox about ready to have first pitch. The Red Sox lead Game 2 of the doubleheader 2-0 on the Jays. Now in the third, the Marlins 5, the Orioles 3. That's in the top of the third. The Brewers have jumped ahead of the Pirates 1-0 in the fourth inning in Pittsburgh. Atlanta and the Mets scoreless in the third. The Yankees, the Rays, scoreless in the fourth inning, about ready to get underway. Cincinnati and Chicago to match up with the Cubs. The Diamondbacks in Arlington to tango with the Rangers. Later tonight, Colorado in Anaheim to meet the Angels. The Dodgers and Giants will square off in San Francisco. Those are the sports headlines of the day. I'm Greg Sharpe.
Live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network, bringing you the best Husker sports experience.
Kubik sends it past me, Gonzalez. It's over the net. Shut back by Stivrins. It's in. They did it. Match point, big run. 15-10 in the fifth. Fighting back from the abyss, down 2 sets love. Nebraska claims opening night against Ohio State. 15-10 set 5. My goodness.
Lauren Stivrins is a great leader, and Lauren was talking to those guys through when we were struggling, and she got them to change their mindset. And then I think Lexi led the way, and Nicklin, and so those are the guys that got to do that. Then it was fun to watch. We played Husker volleyball.
Sports Nightly is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down. Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
We're back. Here we are, Hour 2, Wednesday night show. Sports Nightly here on the Husker Sports Network. Hope you had a hot day. Hope you were cool somewhere. I feel so bad for people that have jobs outside today. Mail carriers, construction workers, lawn people. That's hard.
Lifeguards.
Oh, lifeguards can dip their toe in the water.
You
That's
gotta sit
fine.
up in the pool, in the chair and overlook
They're living the
pool.
dream sitting up there. No, they're not sweating at all.
I just said I was a lifeguard, so.
Come on. These were great days because you had every excuse just to jump in and get quick, wet, and go.
Yeah.
Construction guys, these people working on this today, Jessica, they had to be really hot out there.
I was hot in the air conditioning. That says something. So I can only imagine working outside.
So be careful. And again, tomorrow, heat index again tomorrow going to be over 100. Hydrate, keep
Drink your water.
Cover your head, wear light color clothing, all those things that the meteorologists. By the way, I've not told you this, so I will repeat myself to the audience, but not to you. In my next life, I'm going to be a meteorologist.
Okay.
I love that. Plus, you can be wrong all the time, and people can still love you.
Yeah, that's for sure. Takes a lot of science, though. I know,
and that's fine. I'll dig deeper in the schooling.
Can you do the backwards, like when you're on the green screen?
Oh, yeah. I used to work in TV, so I know how to operate the green screen stuff. Yeah, it's old hat.
Maybe you can start now. Start chasing tornadoes.
I did do some storm chasing in my life. I already have done some of that. All right, you're going to be a part of the hour. We got Kobe Webster coming up here in a little bit, and Nate Rohr, who you're going to hear his voice in the stadium tomorrow night. He's the PA voice of Memorial Stadium, going to join us as well. But if you want to be a part of it, 402-413-2400. Let's go out of state. Let's go to North Carolina. Devin, you're joining us next on Sports Alley. Good evening.
Good evening. How y'all doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I just wanted to respond to the comments about ESPN. I know the question was if ESPN was having too much influence on college football. I would say a resounding yes. It's something I kind of noticed even with Nebraska football. They seem to kind of always cover. There's always negative press when they cover Nebraska football. Very rarely if it's positive. When you got guys like Paul Feinbaum saying that Nebraska sucks and things of that nature. I mean, I don't know how that adds to college football whatsoever, but that's what he does. So for a long time I've kind of, and it's not just with football either. ESPN seems to kind of have its input with sports in general, whether it's LeBron James, because that's the easy one because everyone knows who LeBron is. When they on one side they talk about how super teams are bad for the NBA, but then they bring up LeBron should get this superstar, that superstar, and that superstar, and they seem to kind of talk about it right around the critical points of the NBA season, free agency more specifically. And I know it's about college football, but I'm just saying, like, ESPN, they got a track record, and it's not a good one.
Devin, appreciate it. Thanks for your thoughts on that. I think Devin would have a lot of people echoing what he said, that ESPN's gotten too big.
Yeah, I mean, again, I've been in the Big 12, but I feel like probably people in the Big 10 feel this way as well. It's like, there's the Big 12 and the Big 10 teams can basically make no mistakes and get into the playoff, but those SEC teams, it's like, oh, well, look at the league that they're playing in. It's definitely the narrative is pushed about the SEC, but there are some bad teams in the SEC, so it's like, I know that there are some really good ones and Alabama dominates, but it's not like from top to bottom that league dominates football. Like, it's not like they don't have a cakewalk every couple of weeks.
No doubt. There's a Vanderbilt in that league, right?
I wasn't going to name names. You went there.
That's fine. I'll call them out. Doug in Norfolk said, just remember going back to 1995, ESPN wanted to crown Florida and to a lesser extent in 97, Tennessee as the national champs before the bowl games. Huskers won both of those decisively to claim national championships. And you're exactly right. That was the way that went. All right. Yesterday, Husker basketball made some players available. We heard last night from Alonzo Verge, who I think is going to be an exciting player in this program. One guy who's back that everybody saw last year is Kobe Webster, and you had a chance to catch up with him.
Yeah, decided to come back, and he talked about that and that decision. And Coach Hoiberg has raved about the guys that have returned and how they've really kind of kept the buy-in that they had and the momentum that they had at the end of the season moving forward into the offseason and the summer workout. So that's where we started, just kind of how the summer is going for this team. Okay, well, I just want to start. How's the summer going? Because I know last year, you guys, it was kind of a weird summer. So how has this one been?
It's been great. I think, we got a lot of new faces, coaches included. So that's been fun, just getting to know everybody. Actually being able to go outside, going and doing boxing and going to Topgolf and just little stuff like that to get the chemistry that we're going to need this season. So I would say it's been great. Like I said, it's been fun getting to know everybody.
You, at the end of the season, had a great, strong finish. This team had a great, strong finish. What was the feeling when you guys played that last game and you were heading into offseason, knowing maybe getting a little glimpse of what you guys could do?
That was really one of the main reasons I decided to come back. I think the momentum that we had in those last, 8 or 9 games sort of showed that, we can play a certain way, we can compete with anybody in our conference. So, and obviously my teammates were on me about it. They wanted me to come back. So, like I said, that momentum definitely led me to that decision.
What do you think kind of spurred that momentum?
I honestly don't know. I think, senior night, I think was a big, we had kind of a shift in momentum, I would say. Being able to go out there, me, Thor, Derek, we started and then ended up finishing the game with us hitting some clutch shots and free throws at the end. So I think that sort of showed us like, oh, we can compete with anybody in this league. So after that game, I think is when it sort of shifted the tide a little bit.
Kind of things started to click.
Yeah, definitely. I think the ball movement got better. I think Coach just said it after practice. We were top 10 in efficiency on offense those last like 10 games or something like that. So it definitely started to click.
So you and some of those other guys that were coming back that had a feel for that at the end of the season, and then you're welcoming in all of these new players, and Coach Hoiberg has talked about how big you guys, the returners, have been in that and kind of setting the tone. What was your goal and your message as the guys that were older coming back and kind of knowing where you want this program to go?
I think it was just taking that momentum that we had from those last 10 games and bringing it to this summer. Staying consistent with the ball movement, staying consistent with the talk, the leadership, but also sort of taking guys under our wing. We got some young guys too that have to sort of be shown, and being patient with them, making sure they know the plays. Just having those little teaching moments as a sort of vet on the team. Taking guys like Q, CJ, talking to them even outside of basketball, just to relate to them and connect with them. I think is going to help when the season comes.
Do you enjoy that leadership role?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been the smallest guy on the court, so I've always had to play point guard, and so from a young age, I've always had to sort of direct traffic and be that voice on the court, a sort of extension of the coach when I'm out there. So I kind of was thrown into it, but I definitely enjoy it.
We Over Me, I've been to one practice. I've heard it multiple times. It's on your shirt right now. Can you tell me like the backstory and where that kind of messaging originated?
So in April, during postseason workouts, we sort of came up with a couple mottos that we wanted to just follow and sort of just repeat every day, just so guys, so it sticks in our head. And this was one of them. Just knowing how last year ended, understanding that we had some issues in terms of individual agendas last year. Not a whole lot of team basketball being played sometimes. So this was just a model. When going gets tough, we have to stick together, make sure we're huddling, make sure we're talking to each other the right way, because that's the only way we're going to be successful.
Chemistry, obviously a huge part of a basketball team's success, and it's not something that can happen overnight. It takes time. You guys have a lot of new faces. How do you build that chemistry?
I think I kind of touched on it, just being with each other outside of basketball. In between the lines, it can get sort of annoying almost. You're going at each other every day, so it almost looks like you're not friends or you're not cool with each other. So I think having talks outside of basketball, talks about other stuff other than basketball, your interests, whatever it is you like to do, the events that we've been boxing, Top Golf, doing different stuff like that, just to get away from basketball for a little bit, I think is the biggest thing.
How competitive have the practices been this summer?
Oh, they get rough. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it today. There was a lot of talking today. But no, I think that's good for us, And like I said, in between the lines is different than when we're off the court. This group doesn't. I haven't seen it. The talk go from on the court to off the court. I haven't seen it. Translate. So I think everybody understands that nothing is personal. It's just we're all competitors. We all want to win, whether it's practice or a game. So, when we're in between the lines, that's what we're going to do.
Okay, that's the team talk. Let's talk about you. At the end of the season, you really found a groove. What started to click for you personally?
I think just my energy changed. I think I got in a sort of better headspace. I wasn't sort of dwelling on a past game or dwelling on the first part of the season or whatever. I think I just sort of was able to let go, stop thinking so much, listening to Coach, him telling me, shoot the ball with confidence, have confidence in yourself. My teammates encouraged me. So I think just that energy shift sort of allowed me to just let go and play more free, and I think that's when I'm at my best.
So now, what are your personal goals going into the season? Once you made the decision to come back, what were you kind of thinking, okay, this is what I can do this year?
I think, like I've been saying, just building off that momentum I had from those last 9 or 10 games. I think I was shooting above 43% from 3 or something like that just in that stretch. I think I was averaging 12 or 13 points just in that stretch. So I think just contributing any way I can, honestly. It's not just about the points, the percentages. that stuff matters, but to get to where I want to go and the rest of the guys want to go, we have to win. So if I can contribute to a win in any way, that's what I'm here for.
Making the decision to transfer here, how do you kind of evaluate that now? How glad are you that you are here? I mean, obviously you came back for another year.
Right. Yeah. That was a crazy experience, especially with COVID. So, I didn't really get to go on any visits or anything like that. I actually don't believe in coincidences, but it was a coincidence that the Big Ten tournament was in Indy, and I was on spring break the same week. And so I got to meet with Coach Matt and Coach Hoiberg, and sit down, and they sort of laid it out. And I was actually those were the only coaches that I seen in person. And so talking with them, talking to my family, a few guys that had been around Coach in the league and stuff like that, definitely helped in making that decision.
I just got here, and there's a lot of excitement and buzz around this program. You're in it. How close do you feel like this team, this program is to kind of making that next step?
Yeah, I mean, we're really close. I think, like I said, it comes down to us coming together more, communicating, and just doing the little things. Derek mentions it all the time, just doing the little things in practice. We're on the court talking, shaking hands, huddling up, encouraging each other, just little stuff like that, because we definitely have the talent to do something special.
And how, as a player, the excitement and the support of this, community and Nebraska fans, Husker Nation, I mean, they are behind you guys and excited for what you guys could do this year.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. We're like celebrities out here because there are no professional teams. So, it's exciting. And last year I didn't get to experience the packed house. So, definitely excited to see all the fans in the arena play in front of, I think it's 14 or 15,000 people. So, Twitter, Instagram, like you said, there's a lot of buzz, so I think it's gonna be fun.
And get your season tickets. Was that a push to fans to get your season tickets?
Definitely. I've seen a few people in Walmart and at some restaurants that told me they had the season tickets. So definitely season tickets.
I think it's gonna be a fun team to watch. Was at a basketball game today, and you get a lot of scorers, so I know it's a tough league, but I think it's as we've seen, a fun style of basketball to watch, and just got to gel and figure out the chemistry, because there's a lot of pieces that you got to try to mix together.
Sure is. I know they were excited that Kobe decided to come back and take advantage of the rule to get the extra year. That team, and I think I mentioned this last night, they're about to scatter. They're kind of coming to the end of a second part of summer school here, and they're going to bolt out of here for a few weeks, get a little downtime, and then come back and start workouts again when school gets going on the 23rd of August. So that's why they gave us a chance to talk to some of them, and I was great to hear a bunch of these guys.
Yeah, and the rules change where you can have some time in the summer benefits a team like this, because they've been able to really compete and bond. Yes, too. And bond and compete, and they have a lot of those freshmen that we talked to today talked about those older guys, like the guys that stayed in that came back, and how they've really taken them under their wing and helped them kind of get adjusted and acclimated, but then also how they're making them better on the court. So, Bryce McGowan's talked about how much better he's become as a player just because of the competition that he's been going up against in practice day in and day out. The big 7-footer, Oleg, is now on campus, got here earlier this week. So Tomianga is the only one not here yet, and he will be soon, as now his Japanese 3-on-3 team was eliminated from the Olympics. They made it to the quarterfinals. He played very, very well. He's an exciting guy to watch, I think, too. I'm a big fan of shooters, and because again, that's something that you're not born with. You have to work at that to become a good shooter. So I can't wait to see. And it seems like there's several shooters on this team, so it should be fun. Absolutely. So Oleg Kojanets, I had to find the thing. Oleg Kojanets, the 7-footer from Lithuania, arrived on campus this week. So that's much needed help inside. They're still a little bit thin on the inside for that team, but good stuff there. All right, when we come back, Nate Rohr, who will be you'll hear his voice in the stadium tomorrow. He is the PA voice of Memorial Stadium, also does Husker softball. Is going to join us to give you some hints about how to attack Fan Day tomorrow. That's next.
The game isn't just about winning or losing. It's about the snacks they share after they've used up all their energy in the field. It's the early morning practice before school and staying late after to get a couple more kicks in. It's the pride they feel for their team and the determination to always keep improving. Sure, the game isn't always about winning or losing, but when they've won the big game and celebration is in full swing, there's only one thing left for you to do. Get them home safe. Buckle up in back. Paid for by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. Nebraska Athletics are hiring event staff for the 2021 home football season. Our #1 requirement, be passionate about Husker football and ready to provide the ultimate fan experience for the greatest fans in college football. As part of the event staff, you serve Husker Nation and check out live game action inside Memorial Stadium. Apply right now and help kick off the Husker football season by working the Garth Brooks concert. For more information and to apply, visit huskers.com/event staff. Go Big Red.
Did you ever buy something and get more than you expected? Emeritus offers insurance, employee benefits, and financial services, but we deliver so much more. The comfort of a human voice when you need it, the confidence of flashing a beautiful smile, the relief that your family can keep living the life they love, the serenity of knowing you've planned well and can enjoy life. That's what we really deliver. We call it fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services, and much more.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. Nebraska is one of the best schools in America for student Fulbright scholars. 2021 marks the 4th time that the university has been named a top producing institution by the Fulbright program. Of the 30 Huskers who applied this past year, 10 were offered the prestigious Fulbright. An additional 16 Huskers were named semifinalists.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
Buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Tomorrow night at about this time, the Fan Day will be wrapping up, and that's when annually Nate Rohr will be breaking the hearts of young boys and girls, telling them that they need to leave the stadium. And he's kind enough to give us a few minutes on the program here tonight. Nate, how you doing? How are you?
Trying to stay cool. It's fortunate that the press box out here at Duncan Field for the Hastings Sodbusters has such good air conditioning. I think I would have melted the last couple of nights calling the Fremont Moo games, but hanging in there, enjoying the AC, taking in some Moo baseball, and just getting our season down to the home stretch and getting ready for Husker football.
Well, Nate Rohr calls Huskers softball for us here on the Huskers Radio Network. He's also the voice of Memorial Stadium, so his golden pipes will be echoing through the stadium tomorrow night, welcoming everybody in for Fan Day, 5:30 to 7:30. How many Fan Days do you think you've been to, and when did you start going to them?
Okay, so I have, obviously last year there was not a Fan Day because of COVID. I attended Fan Day every year from 96 to 02 growing up, and then I've worked them since 2003. I started in the sports info office. My job was to take care of the offensive linemen in 03. If you recall, Richie Incognito was one of the Husker linemen. And so I had to run and get him towels and Sharpies, and I was on notice to not screw up Richie Incognito. But that was my job early on, and then I've announced, I think, since 05 or 06. So not sure what the math is on how many straight Fan Days I've been to one way or the other, but the streak continues.
Frank, 03 was Coach Solich's last year at the helm, right?
That's correct, yep.
And Bo Pelini was his defensive coordinator. How about that? I mean, my guess that's a little going down memory road chat there. What's the best part of Fan Day in your eyes?
Well, it sort of turns on the lights on football season for me, especially not going out to Big Ten media days this year. It's kind of the first time since the spring game that we're able to gather the Husker football fans together at the stadium and see everybody running around in their red and the jerseys, and just that feeling that right around the corner we're going to see Husker football here very, very soon. Everything begins. So just kind of that flip of the switch to the beginning of first fall camp and then the 2021 football season.
All right, what advice do you give people if they're coming to Fan Day tomorrow? I mean, do they have to strategize before they walk in the door? They should probably have some kind of pre-event plan, right?
Yeah, and the athletic department advised everybody to make sure they hydrated before. I think especially as hot as it's going to be, that would be a pretty good first strategy. Make sure you got some water in you. From there, if it's me, my strategy would be swing big early. Obviously, if you can get there a little early to where, you do your standing in line before that 2-hour clock is ticking, that's a good thing. So if it's me, I'm looking for kind of my big play early on. Whoever that might be, maybe this year it's the defensive backs. Obviously, the quarterbacks are always a big line. The defensive line's always a little bigger line. But whatever your target is, make that your first one, and then work from there. I mean, the offensive line is always a good value play, best bang for your buck, and usually the line's pretty manageable. The running backs usually is a long secondary line, but because there are so many new guys in that crop, I don't know that line will be as long. But, yeah, I would say swing big early and then look for short lines, and especially the offensive linemen. Very good value play, very good bang for your buck.
Very good. Some sage advice from the veteran of Fan Day, Nate Rohr, with us here on Sports Nightly. Nate will be back calling Husker softball in the spring. He'll be the PA voice of Husker football throughout the fall, including Fan Day tomorrow at Memorial Stadium. I know you've been busy calling some summer ball. I don't know if you have had a chance to watch much of the Olympic Games.
Just a little bit. I had the Olympic softball on actually as we had lunch yesterday before our game. Disappointing that the United States wasn't able to win it, but they lost to Japan the last time the Olympic softball was part of the Olympic program. And Japan has a very good Olympic softball program. And as we know, they're very invested in their bat and ball sports. And, of course, having it at home had to help. So I've watched a little softball. I've not dove into it too much. And I don't know how other people feel about it, but between the spectator restrictions and, it was supposed to be last year, I've had a tough time getting fired up for these Olympics. I don't know.
No, I think a lot of people share your same sentiment that the lack of crowd and energy in the buildings or at the venues does take away from some of that. I want to center in on softball a little bit. First time since 2008 that sport's been a part of the Olympics. It's a shame that it's not every time, but at least we had it this time. Team USA, Nate, just really struggled to score. What did you make of it? And I guess there was some real politicking going into putting that roster together.
You know, part of it is you're just facing elite pitching every single night, and it's just so tough to build that roster. And I think Mike Candrea was the head coach, so I'm sure he had a loud voice in that. So I don't know if it was just the moment, or I didn't think there was anybody that they really left on the cutting room floor that should have gone. It would have been nice if they would have taken Taylor Edwards, the former Husker catcher, but the race as far as the couple of catchers on that roster was very, very competitive. And I don't know how much a different choice here or there on the roster would have made. The margins are just so small at that level.
Yeah, no doubt. It will not be part of the Paris Games in 24, but it will be back as a sport when Los Angeles hosts it in 2028. Husker softball, I know the coaches have been out hitting the recruiting trail hard in July. A good chance. Now, obviously, replacing Edwards will be a big hole for Rhonda Revelle and that coaching staff, but I think they feel like they really had some good young talent in the program this year. Is that your read?
Yeah, I think the overall talent level of the program took a step forward, and they were getting good contributions from the young players, the freshmen from Arizona that they were playing at third base, was having a really good year before she went down to injury. And so there are some pieces there, and there was some improvement shown by the players around them. Of course, that lineup now has a big hole, because how do you fill for Tristan Edwards, and how do you make up for her loss? But you know, there's enough youth in the program. There are enough players that are just at the beginning of their softball careers. If they take a jump from last year to this year, you can hope for a better lineup. They need a little better pitching. Hopefully that's on the way. But I think the lineup, at least, is going to be in pretty decent shape for next year.
Yeah, and I know you can't wait for that to get here in early February and get back on beam and back onto a normal schedule for Husker softball. And I'm sure you're excited, not only for Fan Day, but just to see all the folks back at Memorial Stadium this fall with pretty much full capacity going.
Yeah, without question. It was just eerie walking around Memorial Stadium close to the games last year. I mean, you think of a normal football Saturday at Memorial Stadium, and usually I arrive at the stadium 4 hours before kick for a script and production meeting. And even there, 7 a.m. for an 11 a.m. kick, there's a buzz. There are people moving. You run into people. There's even a little bit of traffic coming down from Omaha on I-80. I had to report last year 2 hours before the game. We had a much stripped-down production last year, and there was nothing. You had a straight shot into Omaha. You had no traffic. Nobody was walking around, and especially where the season started later, and so the weather was a little worse. You know, it was gray, it was dark, it was empty, it was cold. It felt all wrong. And, hey, we're appreciative that we had the opportunity to do at least that, because we were certainly presented with the possibility of not having anything. And having last year as it was not great, but it was at least something. But it'll be much, much better for the Fordham game, the first Saturday in September. The streets around Memorial Stadium teeming with red, and the tailgating and everything else. We got a little nibble of that for the spring game, but it was nowhere near a normal football Saturday. And the fact that we've been deprived of that for 2 years makes you all the hungrier to see it again.
Nate, Scott Frost last week at Media Days in Indianapolis, I think he raised some eyebrows when he made the comment that home games were almost a detriment to the Huskers last year because the players in the program are so used to the great home field advantage and the energy through the tunnel walk that it wasn't there. Does that make sense to you?
Somewhat, yeah. I think that a lot of the positives that you normally draw from home field advantage just weren't a part of the games last year. So I can see that, especially if you're a veteran player. You know, if you're a true freshman or whatever and you hadn't played before, it makes no difference. But we know these players get into their routines and get so acclimated to things. I mean, if you're Taylor Martinez or Adrian Martinez, excuse me, ESPN is reprogramming. Hey, better I do it tonight than on the PA mic, right? Adrian Martinez, here's why I screwed it up, because the guy I had in mind was a Cam Taylor Britt, right? But if you're a guy that's played a lot of home games, you expect to get that boost. You expect to have the crowd behind you. And when you don't get that boost from the crowd, it leaves you with something of a downer. It's like you expect the energy of the crowd to help you after you've practiced all week and gotten ready, and it wasn't there. It wasn't there at all. And so I could definitely see where Scott Frost is coming from. And as you look across sports, whether with the NBA, the NHL, home field was pretty well neutralized as you look across professional sports. So it's only natural that would carry on to college sports.
Well, good stuff. Well, Nate, great to catch up with you. Good to hear your voice. I can't wait to hear you echoing through the stadium tomorrow night. And don't feel too bad about crushing the dreams of those little boys and girls when you tell them that they got to go home.
Yeah, well, I empathize completely. I was in those long lines, and if you just listen to the event staffer and you're a little cagey about where you go and when you go, you ought to have a good day. And I hope we see a lot of fans running around and getting autographs and getting that little nibble of Husker football before the season starts.
Very good. Thanks, Nate. Appreciate it.
You betcha. Take care, Greg.
There he is, Nate Rohr, joining us on our Sports Nightly Hotline, brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. Phone lines, text lines open for you, 402-413-2400. More of the show coming up.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. Stay up to date with the most current and latest news by following the Huskers on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and more. These social media homes provide the fastest daily updates on everything surrounding Nebraska athletics, including game times, results, ticket promotions, prize giveaways, and more. Log on to also follow several sport-specific pages and Husker head coaches. Join today and interact with thousands of Husker fans around the world. Visit huskers.com/social media to see all of our accounts.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. A new grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture is supporting Husker research in the study of multi-robot systems in ag settings. The almost $500,000 grant was awarded through the USDA's National Institute of Food and Agriculture to Professor Santosh Pitla. Pitla and his team will use the funds to further their research in the use of unmanned ground vehicles and drones on the farm.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Our Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you here on a Wednesday night, a hot Wednesday night in the Old Town. The heat index still over 100 degrees right now here in Lincoln. Hot day. Tomorrow hot as well. Should cool off a little bit for Friday for the first practice for the Big Red. On our text line, Aaron in Lindsay says the Big Ten needs to work on adding Iowa State to the west and look to Boston College or Syracuse to the east. There's Aaron's take on Big Ten expansion.
Yeah, and I think just sit back and wait and see how this thing unfolds because, again, teams, might be conferences that collapse. You might not know in a couple of years where a program might be. Iowa State might not be as good, and teams are going to want to always be in the Big Ten, so you can be a little bit patient before you add teams, I feel like.
Carla wants to know, do you know why sports are skipped some years during the Olympics, such as softball this time, and in Paris they won't be playing? Do each Olympic committee or host city pick the events?
It's a complicated process, but there's like 5 different criteria that are broken down a lot, but it basically comes down to 5. But it's how long the sport existed, how popular the sport is in the host country, how much it would cost to broadcast the events, and a bunch of other factors, but and how much value the sport would add to the Olympics legacy. So, a lot kind of goes into it, but I think that's why Paris softball is not as big there, but in Los Angeles and what would be next, 2028?
Yep.
That's why it's probably going to be back in LA because it's very popular in the United States.
And 32, they just announced it's Brisbane, Australia. I would think it's got a chance, right?
I mean, it's not all of it, but it definitely that plays into it. I think is how popular it is in the host country. But I don't think the host country picks, and it also has to comply with Olympic Charter and World Anti-Doping Code. So all of that kind of goes into it. It's kind of a complicated process, but I think definitely the popularity of how that sport is in the host country, which is why it was back in Japan this year.
Carla and Aaron, thanks for the text. If you want to be a part of the program with a call or a text, 402-413-2400. You were doing some digging on the relationship between Disney and Fox. We had a caller last hour that said, doesn't Disney now own Fox? You did some research on that.
Yeah, so Fox, kind of what I was saying, but not quite right. But so Fox had split off a couple of their entities before they merged with Disney. And, Fox Sports, Fox News, some of those things is Fox Corporation now. But the big movie entity of the Fox Corporation, or whatever, 21st Century Fox, that is what merged with Disney. So yes, Disney does own some of Fox, but there were parts of Fox that split off before, and Fox Sports is one of those.
Okay, so I hope that answers the question we had from last hour. He wasn't totally wrong.
No,
but
it definitely was right, and it was a huge deal. It was like the biggest merger in history of media.
Right.
But Fox Sports definitely is separate and could make their own push at some conferences and college football.
Think the Big Ten's making a mistake by not speaking out some this week, or is that just too? If you don't really have anything to say, you don't say anything, or I don't know. Pac-12 is talking because their media days are going on. It makes me nervous when they're quiet too long.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're gathering information. Wasn't that the term?
Could be.
Gathering information. We did have a couple of things going on the YouTube chat. So if you're listening in and you haven't heard us talk about the YouTube chat, you can watch us every night on our stream. And Brian Crawford said, I thought overall viewership on ESPN was down. So where's the money coming from? I think the viewership numbers that are down are on their talk shows, but the sports numbers, I think, are still pretty good. Now, I think NBA viewership was kind of down this year, but, you know, that could be the COVID year. I don't know. We'll see. But I think their Monday Night Football numbers were good, and their, you know, the college football numbers continue to be steady. So I think it's the numbers that are really down are some of those talk shows that they do.
Somebody texting in on our text line wants to know, and we had this question the other night as well, is the NUOU game at home still secure next year if Oklahoma transitions to the SEC? I would say yes, because they're not going to play 12 conference games, even if they jump to the SEC next year. In fact, the SEC's locked in at 8, so I think I would not be too concerned that Oklahoma doesn't make that return trip next year.
I don't think there's any way that they can get out that quickly, right?
Wouldn't think.
Well,
you don't think they leave the league by next year?
I don't think they're out in 2022.
You don't?
I think by 2023. Right now the contract is there until 2025, right?
Yeah,
so,
it is.
But the buyout, I don't know if how it works, but I think it starts 2023. That's my guess, but I don't know.
It's a long time to hold it together, because there are so many hard feelings, and now you have lawyers involved.
Which exactly, it might be drawn out. You don't. I mean, if you're talking money and giving.
Let's think about this now. Nebraska made their move in early June, and they were out by the next year. So they did it in 15 months, 15 months. When Nebraska made their move out.
But when did the contract expire on the TV deal?
Yeah, that I don't remember.
So that's kind of what the deal with Fox and ESPN, the TV rights deal that they signed is through the 24-25 season. So that's where I don't know how that works, if you can get out, what the buyout is. Does it go down every year? Is that where, again, we've been talking about the Longhorn Network, which someone said on the chat about ESPN being involved in the Longhorn Network, which supposedly we've heard that the buyout is coming from the Longhorn Network, but I don't know what the deal is to get out of it.
I just don't know how long you hold that together as bad of feelings as they're going to be on this deal. Let's take a caller before we work our last break in. Seth and Beatrice, you're up next on Sports Island. Good evening.
Yeah, on the state of college football, I think we've kind of made this monster ourselves, and so now we're kind of upset that the monster's eating everything. With regards to the SEC and stuff, I think Greg Couch wrote an article for the Blaze.com, and he said basically amateurism in college football is gone because we got, was it the NIL, I think, name, image, and likeness? They're just going to start paying kids like, pros basically, so it's basically going to be a semi-pro league. So, we kind of, made our bed. Now we got to lie on it. That's why I think the SEC. Their thought is, this is my take on it, is that they see if we can take Texas and Oklahoma and have more power to our conference, we'll be able to pay players. So we'll have more money, especially with Texas. So we can pay players more. That means we get the best players. Then we'll have the best teams. We have the best conference. It means a larger market share. So I think that's their thought process in this, and I think. He said, Greg Couch, said that they're going to take over and the NCAA is going to be out because they're just going to be too big, the SEC. So that's his take. So my thought is, I guess I'll leave you with this, is the fact that, and this isn't anything in life, any business, I think any time that money becomes more important than the product suffers. And I think that's, in my opinion, that's what we're seeing. So,
Seth, appreciate it. Thank you. That's a solid take right there.
Yeah, it's... I think a lot of the issues that we're having is how bad the NCAA kind of were behind and didn't stay on top of things, and then we kind of created these the commissioners of these conferences, like Greg Sankey has more power than, and it just kind of became a mess. Like they kind of dug their feet in a little bit, and then things were passing them by, and so now we're kind of in the wild west a little bit.
He's right. College sports has kind of done this to themselves in a lot of ways. Need to work our final break in. Back to wrap up tonight's show next.
Shop with confidence at Woodhouse Buick GMC and find your next vehicle. Our knowledgeable sales team is eager to help you find a vehicle. Plus, get you on the road faster with our streamlined sales and buying process that you can start online. New Buick and GMC models with the features you want at a smart price. Visit our indoor showroom or shop online anytime at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. Experience the difference and shop Woodhouse Buick GMC first.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Back to adventures in technology. Oh no! Our IT hero is dangling from a mountain of open IT tickets, ready to plunge into the abyss of overtime. But wait! It's Marco's Managed IT to the rescue with a lifeline of 24/7 network and user support. Our IT hero is saved! A quick selfie with Marco's Managed IT team, and our hero is back to work. For more successful Managed IT adventures, go to marconet.com.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Buckle up, put the phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Final few minutes of the program tonight. Again, Fan Day tomorrow, 5:30, because Lincoln, Lancaster County has gone to the yellow. They are, one of the things is if you're not vaccinated, you will need to wear a mask. They want to try to encourage as much social distancing as possible. And when the event ends at 7:30, players are going to be ushered off the field and taken away, so do not congregate around the team when the event is over at 7:30 tomorrow night. I think there was some talk about should we do this or not? And, there obviously cases are ticking up a little bit. I think, I applaud Nebraska for kind of plowing through this thing, but I don't think anybody would have been upset, Jessica, if they decided to not do this because of what's been happening around here.
Yeah, I mean, it's would be sad because it already kind of had been put into motion. And so I think, just trying to figure out what's best for the fans, but also the players. They're about to start fall camp, so you got to be careful with that as well.
And I know players like it. They enjoy the interaction. It's, they enjoy the adulation. Everybody likes getting their autograph asked for. So I think it's fun for them to do that.
It's been a year. They haven't been able to do it.
Exactly right. I mean, it's part of
2 years, I guess.
It's part of what makes Nebraska attractive to so many kids is the interaction with the fans and the loyalty and the passion the fans have for Husker football. And so I know the players are looking forward to it. It's kind of the last chance to breathe a little bit before it gets real on Friday for them at bright and early at 8 a.m. for practice.
Here we go. Let's do it.
Ready for it. It'll be fun. Good show tonight. Great to hear from Matt Lubick, Husker wide receivers coach and offensive coordinators. We broke down that wide receiving room. Kobe Webster, the sixth-year senior now on the Husker basketball team. And Nate Rohr coming on board with us to talk a little bit about his PA duties tomorrow night and a little bit about Husker softball looking ahead to next spring for Rhonda Ravel's team. So a fun show here on the program tonight. Thanks to Jessica, to Mike, and all of you for listening tonight. We're back again tomorrow. We'll do it all over big media session tomorrow for Husker football as well. We'll hear some comments from head coach Scott Frost and some of the players. All that tomorrow during Fan Day. Have a great night. Stay cool.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. A new grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture is supporting Husker research in the study of multi-robot systems in ag settings. The almost $500,000 grant was awarded through the USDA's National Institute of Food and Agriculture to Professor Santosh Pitla. Pitla and his team will use the funds to further their research in the use of unmanned ground vehicles and drones on the farm.